What's up, everybody? It's your favorite life coach, Tanya Williams, coming this morning. And I just want to come on here and just drop this quick nugget of the day and help you become the best version of yourself. I do apologize for the lighting and the space this morning. I had to come in my closet. The enemy does not want me to get this out for whatever reason. But I'm determined I'm going to be obedient, which is our subject for today. So let this just be a testimony to you that it doesn't matter, that if God's speaking to you, telling you to do something, and the enemy starts breaking out into distractions, you do it anyway, because that means there's power behind what you're about to do. I've had to change spaces 3 times because I keep having distractions. My boys are outside mowing the yard, so I had to move to another place. Then I started the video. I got 7 minutes into it. My son comes in, just slamming doors, coming asking me questions. I said, but devil, I see you, but you ain't going to stop what this word is for today, because this is for somebody. So I had to come to my closet. Y'all forgive me. It's a work in progress. I know it looks like Dorothy and Toto done flew through here and a tornado's come through, but I'm going to get it together. So judge your mammy. Don't worry about it. But I had to come and get this word to you guys today. Again, today I want to talk to you about obedience. And before we get started, I would just want to share with you what the definition of obedience is, so we have a clear understanding. A lot of times we go into things and we don't have a clear understanding. So obedience is compliance with an order, request, or law, or a submission to another's authority. And many of you feel like God has been speaking to you and you just haven't been obedient, and you feel like you're stuck in a cycle. Well, let me tell you, obedience is better than sacrifice, baby. I can tell you that better than anybody. In the beginning, I didn't want to listen to what God told me to do. I was bucking the system, and I was going to do it my way, and I didn't want. He has a way of making you do it, baby. So it's better to just go on and do it and get it over with and pass the test the first time. So many of you have been in a season where, things keep happening, or the same thing keeps happening over and over again, and you feel like, I'm stuck in a cycle. I'm stuck in a cycle. Baby, you're stuck in that cycle because of you, because you won't be obedient. And you may say, well, how do I know, how to be obedient? How do I know? God will speak to you in that still small voice. So when I first started out, y'all, and God began to speak to me, it started with, I was a part of a conference, and it was at the end of the summer. I think it was like maybe August, September, something like that. And the colors they wanted us to wear was salmon and white. Baby, I could not find salmon anywhere. I had been out all day looking, and, by the time I had been to the 5th or 6th store, I was exhausted, and I just really didn't even care anymore. And I went into Ross, and I was like, well, this is my last store. Let me go in here and see what I can find. And I was over at the women's shoes just looking, because I'd already looked at the clothes, couldn't find anything. And I heard something say, go to the kids' shoes. And I was like, go to the kids' shoes? Well, I wear kids' shoes, so I really didn't think anything about it. So I walked over to the kids' shoes, and I was standing there looking on the wall, looking at the shoes, and I heard something say, turn around. I said, turn around. So I turned around, and on the rack hanging was baby clothes. But as soon as I turned around, there was a salmon shirt in my size and the style that I needed for this conference. So y'all, that's how God will start to speak to you. Other ways that when I was first starting out, the way he would try to speak to me or start to speak to me was like maybe at work in the restroom. Somebody would wash their hands and drop the paper towel on the floor. God would instruct me to pick up that paper towel. What's the first thing we say? I didn't do it. It ain't my mess. I don't clean. I don't clean up after grown folks. This ain't my job to clean up after them. But that's how God speaks to you, and to see if you will be obedient. So you got to be obedient and pass the test in the small things before he'll bless you in the big things. Because, baby, he's got to break us before he blesses us. And he's got to make sure that we're willing to listen to him at all costs. Because why would he bless us and give us things when we won't even listen to him to return the shopping cart at Walmart or Publix or wherever we shop at when he tells us to? It doesn't matter that we don't work there and that's not our job. All this is God's for us to help. We were put here to take care of it and to be good stewards over it. So it doesn't matter if you get paid to put that cart back. You don't know what kind of hard day that little cart boy or girl is having. So if God instructs you to put the cart back, you put the cart back. So but those are just some ways that maybe he will start out speaking to you. He may speak to you differently than what he did to me, but that's just an example that I'm sharing, that how he would start to speak to me. And so today we're coming out of 1 Peter 1:14, and it says 13 and 14. So think clearly and exercise self-control. Sometimes that's hard as a bug, ain't it? It's hard. Look forward to the gracious salvation that will come to you when Jesus Christ is revealed to the world. So you must live as God's obedient children. Don't slip back into old ways of living to satisfy your own desires. Come on, somebody. You didn't know any better then, but now you must be holy in everything you do, just as God who has chose you is holy. So you got to be obedient in all the parts, not just the ones you choose. All right now, so that means that if God's telling you, if you've gotten into an argument with somebody and maybe you got a little slick at the mouth, or you got smart with somebody and you felt God saying, you shouldn't have said that, you need to go back and apologize to that person, but you didn't do it, you better go back and apologize to that person, because it's not always for them, but for you. Obedience is better than sacrifice. I used to hear that and I never really knew what that meant, but baby, I know what it means now. Sometimes we feel like the sacrifice is just so crushing to us, like it almost kills us to have to go back and apologize or say we were wrong and do that. But when you do that, that pleases God, and again, you've passed yet another test. So just like being on these videos and stuff like that, I told you guys that I feel like I've pretty much been obedient in everything that God's asked me to do. And this is like the final thing that he's asked me to do, to start open up my mouth and start speaking more, and just going back to the place where I started. Now, I don't think it's because I've done anything wrong necessarily, but sometimes he's got to take us back to where we started. So like I said, some days I wake up, I may not know what we're going to talk about or what I'm going to say, but I'm going to be obedient to that thing. I'm going to wake up and open my mouth and trust and believe that he's going to feel it every time I open it up. So, and it may not be every day that we have these nugget of the days. It's just going to be on the days that I feel led to share something with you guys, and whatever God drops in my spirit, that's what I'm going to share. So I already know that he's doing something, and I don't know what he's doing. I've said this time and time again, there's a shaking going on. There's transition going on, and baby, I want to be on that train. I want to make sure that I don't miss it. So I'm being obedient in everything that he asked me to do in this season, whether it looks good, it feels good, whether I'm judged, whether they talk about me, I don't really care, because one thing about God is he's never going to steer you wrong, okay? Some things don't always feel good to us, but they're good for us, okay? So I just want to encourage you guys today that no matter what area you're in, you may be in the marketplace, you may do hair, you may do makeup, it doesn't matter. You have a ministry inside you. Ministry is an opportunity to help somebody else, and it doesn't always have to look like what we think the typical ministry looks like. You ain't got to be in no pulpit. You ain't got to be in no church, baby. Ministry, we have to look for ministry opportunities. So if you do hair, you have a wonderful opportunity when those women come in. Some of them will have low self-esteem or insecure, but it's a place where women gather to gossip. And, you know, sometimes you feel like, well, I feel like I'm more of a therapist than I am a hairdresser, and you are. Because you're speaking into women. You have the opportunity to speak into their life, to encourage them, to motivate them, to see the things that they don't see in themselves, to pour into them, to pull things out of them. So be obedient in that. That's your ministry. You know, keep moving, keep encouraging these women. You know, sometimes we can't see the thing in ourselves, and it just takes one person to say, you know, you got this going for you, or I see you doing this, and that's going to be the one thing that catapults them into walking in their purpose or doing what they're supposed to do. So, baby, don't lay on them gifts. Don't sit on, you know, whatever. When you hear God tell you to give this person this word, it ain't got to be all spiritual. You ain't got to be, you know, a prophet or anything like that. Just be obedient. That's all God's asking us to do, is be obedient. And this is a time more than ever that he needs us to step out into what he's asking us to do, because the world needs more people. They need the light in the dark place, because this place, I tell you, you see it every day. Things are happening on the news. There's constant, just things that I never thought I would ever live to see that's going on today. So, you know, always make sure that you're obedient and you're being the light in the dark place. And I thank y'all for just bearing with me in my closet this morning. But I was determined to get on here and give y'all this little nugget of the day. I didn't care what the enemy was trying to set up or what he was trying to do. I just knew I had to get it out. So watch. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Y'all have an amazing day. Adjust your crown and be great.